That people jumping up and down and, come sign me up. I mean, it happens once in a while. And if it does happen, it's because they've been exposed by somebody else in the past and said no. Our mentor, Paul J. Meyer, taught us that it takes between 4 and 6 exposures before someone basically accepts a concept, a new concept. It takes between 4 to 6 exposures before someone starts to begin to accept a new concept that they're not familiar with. So if you're exposing someone for the very first time, you're seeing this concept for the very first time, there's going to be a no, baby, a no. Because they're rejecting it, because it's unlike anything they've ever seen before. And that's okay, because human beings are designed to be that way. That's our nature. We are built to reject new and different things. That's how we've been able to survive this long as a human race. Because if we walked into every dark hole, we'd be dead. Does that make sense? Yeah. If we walked down every unknown path, we would not have survived as a human race. If we ate every berry, we wouldn't be dead. If we walked up to pet every animal in the jungle, we'd be dead. Mm-hmm. So we're designed as humans, naturally, to reject new concepts for the survival of the race. And Legal Shield is no different. But if they're exposed a couple of times, every time you're exposed, you get a little bit more. And it starts to seep in that this might be real. Whether you do the exposures or someone else does the exposures. So if you reach someone that says, this is incredible right away, I promise you it's because they've been exposed before. By someone, or maybe yourself. Is that hot? Right. And I promise you, some of you are exposing people and not following up with that. And you're leaving them for someone else to expose. And it might be their 4th, 5th, or 6th exposure, and they're signing up with someone else because you didn't follow up. Is that hot? Hot. Because there's only 2 ways you're going to come up by contact list. Only 2 ways to come up by list. And that's if you buy and become an associate, or if you die and you can't. That sounds morbid, but that's life. You buy or you die. There's only 2 ways to come up my list. I'm going to follow up with you. And somebody asked me, well, how do you know when to follow up? How long do you follow up? It depends on how hard the no is. If someone says, nah, this is not for me, thanks for sharing it with me, then I'll probably follow up in 30 days. If someone says, this is ridiculous, don't ever call me in this BS again, then maybe 60 days. So this is why I'm sharing with you. How do you know when you move to the third party? You advance to the third rate call immediately. When you expose somebody to this information, they see the third party tool, they say, well, this looks interesting, but tell me how the money works. Tell me how the membership works. Don't buy it. Don't fall for that. Does everybody hear what I'm saying? Don't start explaining the membership. If someone shows any interest at all in any area of this business, then they're interested. Does that make sense? Any interest, any questions about anything denotes interest. Does that make sense? So if they ask any questions or show any interest, you immediately move down the road to the 3-way by saying something like this. Don't worry about writing it down. I got it written down for you. I'm going to give it to you in a minute. Let me say it so you understand, you hear it. Does that make sense? So you basically say, that's a great question. I want you to hold all your questions. The next step is to get you on the phone with one of the experts. They will answer some of your questions, and if they feel you're ready, they may invite you to an event. But that'll be entirely up to them. Fair enough? Oh my goodness, that's hot. Now, you can write it down in just a second, but let me share with you the power and the psychology of this phrase. The first thing you said was, that's a great question. So you acknowledge the question. Does that make sense? Yes. Second thing you said was, hold all your questions, which means just hold on a minute. The third thing you said was, the next step is. So if you tell somebody the next step is, you're right there. By just saying the next step is, you're telling them that there is a step. You are exercising leadership right there. You're becoming a leader. You're leading them down a path right there. You're displaying confidence by saying the next step is. Do you understand that? And people will follow a confident leader every day, even if they're going in the wrong direction. A confident leader will be followed. Guaranteed. You hear what I'm saying? Someone who's confident and says, follow me, will be followed, even if they're wrong. That's how starving we are for leadership. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
So if I'm interested in something, if this information makes sense, and you say the next step is, come on, you're like, okay. Is that right? Look down throughout history. Some of the most confident leaders doing the most evil things followed. Is that right?
Oh, yes.
So when you say the next step is, I'm going to get you on the phone with one of the experts. They will answer some of your questions. Not me. I'm not going to answer your questions. They will answer some of your questions. And if they feel you're ready, which means you ain't qualified yet until you talk to them. Is that hot? Yeah. If they feel you're ready, they may, which means you may not. They may invite you to an event, but that will be entirely up to them. Pause, and then you say, fair enough, and then they'll always say, okay. And then you got the three-way call. Is that hot?
Yeah.
You could, here it is right here. You can write it down. Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember when you integrated these phrases into your team and what happened?
That was the first month in the business.
Wow.
All of this, everything I'm sharing with you came out my first month in Legal Shield. We did it that much. And I didn't share with you the numbers earlier, but the first month in Legal Shield, I did 82 personal exposures with that videotape. 82 personal exposures. 67 said no to the business. 23 people signed up and got the membership. 23 of the people that said no got the membership. 13 new associates signed up. 13 new associates signed up to become associates. That added to my personal membership. So I got 23 from people who said no, 13 memberships from people who said yes. So I wrote 36 personal memberships. Of those 13 associates that signed up, 5 never did anything. Does that happen sometimes? Sure. When people don't do anything, they went into what we call witness protection. I call it alien abduction. Anyway, they go. But 5 new people never did anything. But 8 decided to do this business, and all 8 said, Cliff, what do I do next? I said, I don't know, but I got a video, and this is what we're doing. This is how we're using the video. And I taught exactly what I'm teaching you right now. By the end of the month, those 8 associates and me went to 70 associates. And we wrote a total of 258 memberships. All 8 of those folks became directors. I qualified executive director my first month, and I've never missed a month of qualification in 15 years. Right from this. Is that hot or hot?
Hot.
So the next step is to get you on the phone with one of the experts. They'll be able to answer some of your questions, and if they feel you're ready, they may invite you to an event, but that'll be entirely up to them. Fair enough? And then schedule a 3-way call with the support team member. That could be any other associate that you get on a 3-way call that understands the system, that understands the sequence of numbers to get the results we want. Is that hot or what? Okay, I'm going to move on, but I will basically get this information to Frank and Teresa. It's being recorded here, so you guys have access to it in a minute. Is that all right, guys? All right. Now, I just got to share something else with you by way of recruiting. You can build a winning organization or a losing organization. How many would rather build a winning organization? Okay? And Frank, I don't know if you've seen this before. Okay? There's a few things that I've kind of threw in there. Because these are solid concepts, but they just haven't been, put in front of the room. I actually put this together for the national team event that we had this past July, and this is powerful stuff. When you recruit a new associate in the business, I mean everybody, basically. I'm not looking to demean any individual, but as far as productivity-wise, let's just say that everybody is on a scale from 1 to 10. On a scale from 1 to 10, okay? You have your reds, blues, and greens. We've heard this technology before, is that right? Reds, blues, and greens, okay? Your reds are your high achievers, you know what I mean? These are the doers, the make it happen people. These are the folks, if you recruit them, they're gonna do it with you or without you. Because they understand some things about personal development, they understand some things about business, they're not necessarily salespeople, but they're business minded. Does that make sense, guys? They understand that there's work and effort involved. They understand that there's no such thing as something for nothing. They already understand the philosophies of success. These people right here. Those are the reds. Is that right? The greens are people like at your peer level. No matter what level you're at, you might be a red yourself. But you might know other people just like you, they're at your peer level. See, everyone has I'm relating to everyone from whatever level you're at. Does that make sense? Whatever level you're at, there's people above you and below you. Donald Trump is a billionaire. Is that right?
Yep.
But Michael Bloomberg is a multi-billionaire. Donald Trump's worth maybe 1.5 or $2 billion. Michael Bloomberg is worth $50 billion. So to Donald Trump, Michael Bloomberg is here, Donald Trump is here. Does everybody see that?
Yep.
That's the point I'm trying to make. This is relative, okay? So you have your greens. Those are people in your peer group. All right, they're right where you are. So if the reds, if this is you, the reds, you're looking up to these folks. The greens, you're looking at these folks like this. Does that make sense? And the blues, you're looking down like this at those folks. The blues. And the blues will give you the blues. Okay? Now, when you recruit somebody into your business, when you recruit somebody, no matter where you think they are, I'm sharing a powerful concept with you guys. Is this hot or hot?
Hot.
This is because they gave me so much time today to speak. I promise you, in the last 2 years, this is probably the most comprehensive training I've ever delivered. Probably the most comprehensive training, Super Saturday, I've ever delivered because of the time I had to give it to you. So you need to give a hand to Frank and Teresa Cohen for allowing me to do this. When you recruit a brand new associate, no matter where you think they are, if you think they're a red or a blue, if you think they're the CEO, the manager, the director, the employees, or the gardener. Does everybody see what I'm saying? No matter where you think they are, you start everyone right here as a 5. Everyone's a 5. They may think they're a 10, you put them mentally in your mind, you put them at the 5. They may be a 1, but you put them at the 5. Does that make sense? You put them at the 5. You have to work with that new associate. Everybody say work with them.
Work with them.
You have to work with that new associate. No matter where you think they are or where they think they are is inconsequential. You have to work with everyone, give them the same effort, the same treatment, put them through the same process. Get out that, go to LegalShield.com/start, get that first step document and work with them as if no matter where they are, you work with them right here as a 5. Because if you don't work with that new associate when they get started, they will immediately start building a contact list, and their first exposure will always follow the path of least resistance. Their first exposures will always follow the path of least resistance. What does that mean? Which one is the path of least resistance? Going up here or going down here?
Down.
Always. The path of least resistance is right here. So that new associate will immediately start to basically expose, the first people they will expose are the people that are easy for them to influence. Is that powerful?
Yeah.
It's easier to basically look down here and say, come with me, come take a look at this. I got something I want to show you. They very rarely will go up here and say, I need your opinion on something. So what tends to happen is, the losing team, if you don't work with them, those 5s will basically start exposing 4s and 3s, and those folks will start exposing 4s, 2s, 4s, 3s, 2s, and 1s. And ultimately, that's what your organization will look like. Crazy, right? But if you work with them, you get that memory jogger, and you start basically saying, well, who's this person, who's that person, who's that person? And you start working with them to basically work against the path of least resistance and start exposing up here. We start by exposing up here. Then what will tend to happen is you'll start to build a team of winners with the right attitudes. Does that make sense? And these 5 will start recruiting 6s, 7s, and 8s, and 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s. Woo! Is that simple but powerful? Is that right? Simple but powerful. It all begins with who?
You.
It all begins with you. Now I'm going to give you a hypothetical scenario. Is that all right, guys? Everybody ready for this? Hypothetical scenario. Hypothetically, you market a $35.95 membership. Let's say the goal is to build your foundation. You writing 5 memberships a month, which puts you in what? Performance Club. And let's say you sponsor 3 new associates. So you recruit write 5 memberships every month. That's your goal. And you sponsor 3 associates. That's it. Not every month, but just you sponsor 3 associates. Let's just say. If you did every month, that's great. But let's say that your front line would comprise of 3. Well, if you did that right now, your first month, your median income is $345 on those 5 memberships. You became FAFSA qualified, you were promoted to the associate level, and you established your personal team of associates, those 3. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Now, this is the income potential and what can happen as this duplicates. Because, I'm sorry, did you get that, Teresa? Okay. What's going to happen now is, let's say that over a period of time, you're building your business, you reach the manager position. Now, you writing those same 5 memberships this month as a manager is going to earn you $864. Because as a manager, you're going to earn more than you did as a junior associate. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So now your income on your own personal effort is $864. But you built a team along the way. All right? Hypothetically, built a team along the way. So you sponsored how many people?
3.
3. That's all you sponsored, was 3. Front line. When those 3 write 5 memberships, that's going to produce 15 memberships from that team. Is that right? Now, they're going to earn the best commissions on those 5 memberships, but you're also going to earn what?
Overrides.
Overrides. You're going to get overrides. These 3 sponsored 3, so that's 9. And these 9 people are frontline to them, but they're on your second level, they're on your team. When these 9 associates each write 5 memberships, that's 45 memberships. Is that hot?
Yeah.
They're going to earn the best earnings on those memberships. These 3 will earn some overrides, but you're also going to pick up overrides. Is that exciting?
Oh, yes.
These 9 will also sponsor 3. They're all plugged into the same system. When these 9 eventually sponsor 3, as we talked about earlier, those 27 associates, when they write 5 memberships, that's 135 memberships written by that team. Your total team of 39 associates have written 195 memberships. So you and your team together have written how many memberships?
195.
195 plus your 5, that's 200 memberships. Is that right? Yep. So you and your team have marketed 200 memberships for Legal Shield. What business does that put you in? Now, what business are you in?
Network marketing?
You sitting down? You're in the people business. Is that right?
Right.
You're in the marketing business. You're building a marketing organization. We're marketing Legal Shield memberships. We're independent associates for Legal Shield, but we're in the people business marketing a product or service. Is that exciting? Yes. And we've marketed 200 memberships for Legal Shield. Between myself and between yourself and the team's production, you've marketed 200 memberships for Legal Shield. Now, you can also market 200 memberships by going out there and writing 200 memberships. What's the likelihood of that happening?
Much less.
It's not likely on a regular basis to happen, or on any basis for a lot of folks, to write 200 memberships in a month. Would you agree? Mm-hmm. The other way you can do it, you can go out there and you can build a sales force. You can recruit 5 salespeople who each sell 40 memberships a month. Right? So if you recruit 5 people who sell 40 memberships, then that's 200 memberships. Is that right?
Right.
But I like this concept. This concept is network marketing the Legal Shield product. Network marketing the Legal Shield product. The key to this is having a lot of people doing a little bit. Having a lot of people doing a little bit, and you earn a small percentage on the whole volume. That's the key to building a marketing organization. Has everybody got that?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
A lot of people doing a little bit. Everybody can write 5 memberships in a month, part-time, spare time. Is that right? And you are going to earn a small percentage on the whole volume. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You're still part-time. You're writing 5 memberships. That's your effort. You can be part-time manager. But your team is also comprised of 39 part-time associates. Is that hot?
Oh, yeah.
Each doing a little bit. Legal shield